Start it. Get out of the way.
Test, check, okay.
Just in case somebody comes around.
Hi, I'm Reg McDaniel, and welcome to the Emergency Preparation and Cooking Show. Today's episode I've entitled Advanced First Aid. The reason it's called Advanced First Aid is because most of you, the viewers, know how to get your hands on a first aid kit. Most of you probably have a first aid kit. Something small and simple like this would go in a 72-hour kit. Easy portability, have a few band-aids, maybe some ointment, for a scratch or a cut. But advanced first aid I'm talking about is in regards to having a little more than a basic first aid kit, as well as some devices that you're probably not aware of, that you never would have even thought of to have in your first aid kit. And then finally, at the end of the show, we're going to show you some information that's really revolutionary and hasn't even been released on the market yet. So hopefully, by the time we air this show, we'll be able to show you that product. If not, we'll have to edit it out. So let's get started. This is a rather expensive 72-hour, cut. You're going to have to go with your camera onto this because they can't see it, just so.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Even if you bring it closer and then I'll just pull stuff out, you don't have to be seeing me.
Okay, so ready to do that part?
Yeah. I think you might want to go at a higher angle, crank it up if you can, height-wise.
Can do. Like a wrap. Okay. So I've got basically from here to there.
Sure. Ready? Okay. Here we have a little more deluxe type first aid kit. I've pulled all this stuff here out of this. It folds up, looks like a fishing tackle box or a toolbox. But this cost about $150 several years ago when I bought it. And since I've bought it, I've added several things to it. And that's really important, that if you get a really nice first aid kit, you might have individual needs or based on where you live, or medical needs based on family members that you want to add to the kit, or new inventions that come out. For instance, it's kind of hard to find a mercury thermometer, so I saw one on sale once and bought it for a very inexpensive price and then tossed it in my little first aid kit. It has things like betadine for cuts and burns, the little brown solution we're familiar with at hospitals. I bought on sale several bottles of aspirin, pulled the cotton out and poured each bottle of aspirin into one bottle, so I have about 5 or 6 bottles of aspirin for headaches and pain. I've got Tylenol in here, brand name Tylenol. There's spandex bandages. This is it came with it, is a little device that clamps onto a piece of skin, just like a surgeon would use. So if you had a really bad cut and you clamped onto it and let that hang, you could irrigate it and then unclamp it and then close it up and dress it, whatever. You usually don't find what are called butterfly band-aids. They're shaped like a butterfly. They help close long cuts. So you want to add those to your kit. There's tongue depressors. There's a stethoscope. I'm just naming these things so you can kind of get a general idea of what is in one of these kind of kits. You don't generally find in a first aid kit unless it's really an advanced kit. This device here you've seen on TV where they put the plastic device over their mouth and give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on strangers without actually putting their mouth on their lips. This is a bite kit that came with it with alcohol wipes and syringe that sucks the poison out. And I wouldn't recommend a snake bite kit unless you're a doctor, because a lot of people have done a lot of extensive damage on snake bite, cutting veins and arteries, not intentionally, but they've done things like that. There's an eye wash in here, some rubber gloves, shower cap, and the other thing that's not in here that I want you to be aware of is a product called Emprazone. Now this comes from a network marketing company, a multi-level marketing company, and you can call the name and number on the screen if you want to buy this product without joining the company. I contacted a distributor. But this gel, which is a clear gel, will cause wounds to heal faster. It'll cause wounds that will not heal to heal, like diabetic stasis ulcers or open wounds that people have had for years. We've had a 99.9% success rate. It's also phenomenal with burns, whether it be sunburn or a fire ant burn, taking the pain away instantly. If you get it on quickly, it would prevent you from peeling. So this Emperzone product is really something most people in the public don't know about, and it has medical claims on the label that I've been talking about, so that's why I can legally say these things. So if you're interested in this particular product for your first aid kit, and I'd get 5 to 8 tubes of it, and it's about, I don't know, 40 bucks a tube, but it's a 5-ounce tube. Anyway, that's a really great product. We've got a thermal blanket. We've got, if there's a 2nd or 3rd degree burn, there's a burn kit in here. There's more burn stuff. Tape, you need lots of kinds of tape. Scissors to cut the tape. You know, when you're putting on gauze, there's all kinds of gauze in here. And an eye patch if you have someone and they need to keep their eye closed and not be blinking it because they have something in their eye till medical help arrives or you get them to medical help. This is a common product, the antibiotic ointment, also known as Neosporin. You know, you usually don't find those. You don't find these brand name things in a first aid kit. So there's a few ideas for you to have in a really advanced first aid kit. And of course the whole thing collapses, like I said, and then you can boogie out or evacuate if you need to in a hurry. Now when we come back, we're going to show you a few unique devices that you probably haven't thought of or seen, and tell you why you might want to consider having those in your first aid kit. And then we'll get on to the pandemic survival after that. We'll be back right after this.
Let's do that last part with
Okay.
you in it.
I figured you might want to. Of course, food is more important than a first aid kit, so you want to get your food storage, you want to get your water purifications because water is more important than food. But the next thing in line as far as importance would be a good, hearty, hefty first aid kit. When we come back, we're going to show you a few devices that you're probably not aware of that they even exist, and they're devices I think you should consider if cost is not an issue with you in having in a first aid kit, and I'll tell you why. We'll be back right after this. All right.
Looks like my first aid kit.
Let me do one shot. I forgot to put this in there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll just show it on the next scene.
Oh.
That'll work.
No carrying? No. On the table, you say?
Yeah. Well, you're good at that.
Here's the practice, huh? Can you see yourself okay?
Yeah.
You're a little taller than I am, maybe, but, is that better?
Yeah.
You don't really run a camera like that. for you.
Right. Hi, I'm Reg McDaniel. Welcome back to the Emergency Preparation and Cooking Show. One of the devices I didn't show you by accident that was in that first aid kit is one of those, I don't know what they're called, but you can pump them up and get your high blood pressure or low blood pressure. And that's something I consider very important in a first aid kit, because if you have an accident and you need to know the blood pressure, maybe you don't have access to paramedics or hospital, but you have access to a cell phone or a phone to call in. If you can tell them the blood pressure, maybe they can tell you over the phone if you need to personally transport them there rather than wait for help to arrive. So that's just one of the things I forgot to mention. Now, going on to our next subject of some devices that you're probably not aware of. I was on radio for many years and had my own radio show called the High Tech Wellness Show. In that show, I'd spent years researching products that would help people eliminate disease and stress from their lives. Had a great deal of success, and a couple of the devices that I promoted when I had that show that I still have to this day. One is this is it. It's a blister eliminator. Now, it looks like a cattle prod in my opinion. There's a little button on the side. You push it, a little red light comes on. It's sending a current between the two. So if you had a cold sore, herpes cold sore type virus cold sore, you'd put it on your lip like this, and it'll go to a green light in just a second, which it switches current. It doesn't hurt, and it kills the virus. And so here's the green light there. So if you are real susceptible to cold sores, this has a 100% success rate of either preventing them from occurring or causing them to heal 10 times faster. And they have a 3-year warranty, and they last more than 3 years. You can't change the battery. It just fits in your pocket or in your first aid kit. And if you have to evacuate, live in a tent, live in a shelter, you're going to be exposed to the sun a lot. And the sun is one of the big causes of these blisters that kids can get on their lips and adults. Stress causes them too, but that's one of the reasons you'd want to consider having this device. And you can see how to get one with the website on the screen. Also, this eliminates sexually transmitted herpes as well as shingles. And that has nothing to do with being involved in an emergency situation unless you're susceptible to shingles or you have, breakouts of some sort. This is they've sold over 10,000 of these units. They've never had a money back request. They've never had one fail. And they've never had anyone call in and say, I just don't think your product worked. It's really a phenomenal product. The next one I just discovered, it's just come out about a year ago, and it's from a company called Avazzia, A-V-A-Z-Z-I-A. And you can get this device on the website on your screen here. There's about 6 different models to choose from. This is what they look like. It comes in a little nice carrying bag. And the main purpose of this device is to eliminate pain from your body, and they have medical claims. It comes with also a little wire and these little sticky pads that you can stick to your body if there's a place your lower back or you want to treat it for a long time. Inside the little device are 2 AA batteries. That's all the power it needs. It does not plug into the wall. And as you've seen in another episode, you can use rechargeable batteries, which you can recharge any brand of Rayovac or whatever using an electrical outlet, or you can use rechargeable batteries with the solar power recharger that I showed you in another episode. On the back here in the treating area, you turn it on the side. There's a little on switch here, lights up. Then you put it on your skin and hold down this button on the side, and then it lights up and you start feeling a frequency through you. And as soon as you start to feel it, you just take your hand off and it starts treating you immediately. I liken it to a TENS device. So if you're helping dig someone out of rubble from an earthquake, you're going to find at the end of the day you have severe lower back pain or joint pain. This device treats the meridians or the acupuncture points. This is the least expensive one. It's called the MedSport model. And it's about $400. Anybody can buy it. But they have higher powered ones that you have to have prescribed by a doctor. And I've actually contacted some doctors that would prescribe these. That means your insurance would pay for them, Medicare, Medicaid. They're about $3,000 for those particular devices, but if your doctor prescribes it, your insurance will pay for it. You can put it in your kit, treat yourself, whatever. So if you want to know a doctor that'll prescribe it in your area, go to this website on your screen and you can get this device and put that in your kit. So I find that you can become very stressed out and be in a situation of a lot of pain when you're helping others in emergency situations. So that's just a little something I find very unique that you might want to consider in your advanced first aid kit. When we come back, we're going to show you how to survive a pandemic, and it might be a little bit frustrating for some of our viewers because I have to be very careful about what I say and how I say it in order to be in compliance with state and federal laws and not make any claims when possible. And so look forward to that when we see you right after this. Okay?
Cool, so that just uses pickup seats.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really something else.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Just, flower oil or whatever. My wife took the little test on your
Flower essences.
Yeah, really helped her.
It is amazing.
Once she eats, though, it's hard to talk about.
Right. That's right.
Yada yada.
Welcome back to the Emergency Preparation and Cooking Show. This episode is on advanced first aid. And now I come to the part that I think most of you are probably dying to learn about. What I have here is just a tote that you can buy at any store like Shopko or Kmart or Walmart. And inside of here it's packed all the way to the top with all kinds of stuff for even more health-related first aid and pandemic issues. And I'm not really have any desire to show you everything that's in here because everybody has different belief systems, different experiences, but I would like to educate you on some basic things and some phenomenal things that you need to be aware of that can help you when it comes to surviving during a pandemic. One of the most common things that will help is if you get a little mask that fits over your face that is CDC approved, which means Center for Disease Controlled, for tuberculosis. That means as far as the size of the micron will not penetrate through the mask. And a pandemic is simply a virus that goes from person to person, such as the avian bird flu, the bubonic plague we've heard about, and there's other things, flesh-eating disease, that aren't fun to talk about. And the time you'd wear these is when you're out in public, or if someone rings your doorbell and you're going to go answer the door. You want to be wearing this so that you're not exposing yourself to whatever they're breathing. A sneeze can go 40 feet. So, and then our hands are the biggest thing as far as transmitting diseases with handshakes and things like that. Another thing I have in here are latex gloves. I bought these at a store on sale. They're great for handling other people if they're cut, bleeding, things like that. So if you want to help them, but you don't want to get those fluids on your body because your skin can't absorb that liquid stuff. Of course, in here I have the Imprazone that we talked about in tube form for cuts and such. Now, to survive a pandemic, there is a website you can go to, it's right here on the screen now, that shows a really nicely prepared presentation by a major Western university.